Late afternoon sun cast long shadows across our manicured lawn as I and my 10-year-old daughter, Ava, approached the front gate. Ava's wheelchair hummed gently on the brick pathway, her bright scarf fluttering. Suddenly, Karen Peterson stormed out, her clipboard raised like a shield. Without warning, she seized Ava's armrest and yanked the chair sideways, pressing Ava's shoulder against the cold metal bars. "Stop right there!" Karen barked. "You're blocking community property access. Bylaw 6.2 requires permits for special ramps." Her grip tightened, and Ava's face flushed with panic. "Karen, let go of her!" I shouted, rushing forward. Neighbors peered from windows as Karen refused to release her hold. Ava's breath came in frightened gasps. I knelt beside Ava, pressing my hand to Karen's arm. "Step away," I said, voice low but firm. Karen sneered. "I'm enforcing the rules. Without a permit, your daughter can't use that gate." Tears welled in Ava's eyes. "I just want to go to dance class," she whispered. I felt fury coalesce in my chest. I rose and reached inside my jacket for my city ID, assistant commissioner, transportation, and accessibility. "Karen, release her now," I said, flashing the badge. "I will have you cited for assault and misuse of authority." Karen's face paled. For the first time, she hesitated and loosened her grip. I gently eased Ava's wheelchair back onto the path. Ava rubbed her arm, trembling but safe. Karen's lips quivered. She raised her clipboard as if to defend herself, but words failed her. I guided Ava through the gate. "We'll sort permits properly," I said, "but you have no right to treat a child this way." As we drove away, Ava's small hand found mine. I vowed to change every unfair rule, and I had only just begun. The next morning, I arrived at City Hall's accessibility office before dawn, determination etched into my features. I reviewed the gate's permit records, no valid application for Ava's private ramp, or a variance allowing its proximity to the community gate. My pulse quickened as I realized Karen had discovered our temporary setup and seized her moment to enforce a rule she barely understood. Armed with that knowledge, I returned home at midday with a flourish of official documents. As homes glowed under summer sun, I wheeled Ava toward the gate, the very spot where Karen had asserted her power. Neighbors paused mid-yard work, curious. At the gate, Karen reappeared, clipboard in hand. Her smirk suggested she believed the day belonged to her. "Good afternoon," she snapped. "I see no permit." She tapped her pen on the metal bars. I smiled calmly. "Permit? You'll find it in Exhibit A," I replied, producing a city-issued variance signed by the mayor himself. My signature in my capacity as assistant commissioner. Effective immediately, Ava's ramp is fully legal. Under Section 4.1 of the Municipal Accessibility Amendment, any bylaw conflicting with this variance is automatically null and void. Her eyes widened. She rifled through the papers but found nothing to countermand them. I continued. "Furthermore, your common area enforcement powers end where federal disability access rights begin. You may no longer control access for persons with certified mobility needs." Ava watched, her face brightening, Karen's jaw clenched. I was just enforcing rules," she stammered. I knelt beside Ava. Enforcement is noble when you understand what you enforce. You stripped my daughter of her independence, and now you must learn why inclusion matters." I stood and extended the signed variance. "Here, review this, then we'll discuss proper enforcement training." As I guided Ava through the gate, I felt a surge of vindication. Not just for us, but for every neighbor whose rights had been trampled by overreach. The plot twist had surfaced. The very rules Karen wielded as a weapon were powerless against the higher law I upheld. Neighbors clapped quietly, forming a respectful guard of honor as we passed. Ava grinned, her confidence restored. Karen lowered her eyes, clutching her clipboard like a shield she'd lost its edge. 2 days later, the HOA board convened under the old oak in our cul-de-sac for an emergency variance review. I arrived with Ava, her wheelchair decked with fresh flowers from supportive neighbors. Karen sat at the folding table, clipboard bristling with handwritten notes. When the meeting opened, Karen rose triumphantly. "This variance undermines our bylaws," she declared, waving a photocopy of Section 2.4. "We must uphold our rules equally." I stepped forward. "Your rules conflict directly with the Municipal Accessibility Amendment, which I signed into effect. The variance supersedes any HOA covenant to the contrary." I paused, watching her face flush. "Moreover, your enforcement actions last week, physically restraining a minor, constitute assault under state law." Gasps rippled through the crowd. A neighbor unfurled a smartphone video of Karen's altercation at the gate. Her clasped arm, Ava's tear-streaked cheek, unmistakable. Karen's bravado crumbled. The board president adjusted her glasses. "We were unaware of Karen's conduct," she said stiffly. "Her authority is revoked pending a full ethics investigation." As murmurs of approval rose, I guided Ava forward. "Your apology is overdue," I said gently. Ava looked at Karen. "You hurt me, Karen." Karen's eyes brimmed with tears. "I'm sorry, Ava," Karen whispered, voice trembling. Ava nodded and wheeled back to me. The board chair announced, "Effective immediately, all enforcement actions against accessibility features were void, and any future disputes would be mediated by the city's accessibility office." Karen stood motionless, the weight of her misjudgment laid bare before everyone she'd tried to control. The morning of Karen's ethics hearing dawned crisp and clear. Neighbors gathered under the oak tree, curiosity and relief mingling in the air. I arrived with Ava, her wheelchair adorned with bright ribbons. Across the lawn sat Karen Peterson, flanked by her HOA allies, their clipboards now heavy with evidence of her misconduct. Board President Morales called the meeting to order. She reviewed Karen's actions, physically restraining a minor, willfully ignoring a lawful city variance, and abusing her enforcement power. Karen's defense fell silent as the video of her pinning Ava to the gate played on a portable screen, every gasp, every tear, every moment of fear laid bare. Morales turned to me. "Assistant Commissioner Nguyen, would you like to speak?" I rose, heart steady. "Karen's overreach nearly stole my daughter's independence. Today, we correct that injustice." I gestured to the crowd. "This community thrives on inclusion, not entitlement. Enforcement must protect, not punish." Polite applause followed. Karen's face was pale. She clasped her hands, voice quivering. "I thought I was doing the right thing," she stammered. "I understand now that I crossed a line." Her plea for forgiveness echoed among neighbors who had suffered under her rule. The board members conferred. Finally, Morales spoke. "By unanimous vote, we expel Karen Peterson from the HOA board, revoke her enforcement privileges, and impose a fine equivalent to our legal costs in defending this variance. Additionally, we will fund a community workshop on disability rights and respectful enforcement practices, led by Assistant Commissioner Nguyen." The gavel fell. Karen's shoulders sagged. Deputies from the county sheriff's office, present to witness, approached and served her with a citation for misdemeanor assault and child endangerment. Murmurs of approval rippled through the assembly as she was led away, clipboard forgotten on the bench. I knelt beside Ava and handed her a certificate the board had presented, in honor of bravery and resilience. She hugged me, tears of joy in her eyes. Around us, neighbors cheered, lifting ribboned wheelchairs and folding canes like banners of victory. That afternoon, the community garden, where once Karen had sown discord, bustled with families planting sunflowers and daisies in her honor. Karen's newly enacted accessibility workshop sign stood among the blooms, a testament to lessons learned the hard way. As the sun dipped low, I wheeled Ava to the gate she once feared. She traced her fingers over the metal bars, now painted bright white. "We own this gate," she whispered, voice strong. I smiled. "And we'll always protect it." The end.